and it's on gold. I know a lot of you own gold. It's an industry that I follow for over 15 years, and especially in the past 10, I just visited so many more projects in this industry than any place else, than any other industry, I would say. And I do a lot of traveling and I do a lot of hands-on research. If you're a new subscriber or a new listener, and you're not, whatever. If people who follow me for a long time know, I'm just going to send you pictures of places that I've been. I believe in hands-on research, boots on the ground. That's where you find out the best information, not by reading something someplace that anyone else could read, because it's usually factored in. You want to be at these places. They're not just talking to management, but try to talk to the employees, right? Because every management team that I've ever talked to is always going to talk positive about their company. It's natural. I'm going to do about Curzio research. You're going to do it about your company. You want to get a perspective from both sides. And sometimes it's employees, sometimes it's people that are bearish or something. But when it comes to gold and the access that I've been able to give you because of knowing the right people in this industry, because, man, this is one of the craziest industries in the world. I mean, it's like crypto. It's similar to crypto. It really is in terms of fraud, in terms of people getting destroyed, in terms of people lying about what they're doing, backstabbing. And I worked on Wall Street, man, for a long time. You can't even compare it to the mining industry. It's everyone's looking to generate huge profits right away. And it's crazy. If you listen to the wrong people, you can get in a lot of trouble. But right now, where gold is, and we're pushing 1800, pull back a little bit on those levels today. But, whatever, 4 or 5 year, whatever it is, closing in an all-time high. The gold producers have done great. Gold royalty companies have done great, which makes sense. They've been outperforming the entire market past 24 months because they're direct beneficiaries of higher gold prices, where they're actually producing, right, for the gold producers and the majors. That's why you've seen them go up so much. And royalty companies, the gold royalty companies, the big ones, if you're looking at Franco-Nevada, Sandstorm, Royal Gold, they were able to lock in amazing royalties on some of the biggest projects in the world owned by the majors, because the majors, a lot of those companies almost went out of business in 2013, 14, when the market really, really crashed because they were so freaking leveraged. They were buying stupid projects that weren't profitable at $2,200 gold prices. So they needed money, they needed cash, and that's what royalty companies do. They're basically finance companies. They don't produce anything. They're not producing anything at all. They're just finance companies. And, they finance a project and, hey, we're going to give you money for this asset. When it's producing, we get to buy the gold for $300. And they have all kinds of, stipulations where, again, just there's so many deals, and you have to really structure these deals. You need someone who's amazing in finance that understands this stuff, but they could really get whatever terms they want back in the day. Now royalty companies are having a ton of trouble. I mean, companies are launching, the royalty model. I've seen some companies where a lot of these projects won't be producing for 5-7 years, and they're going up 200-300%. But this isn't about gold producers, because we own Newmont Mining for our portfolio for well over a year and a half. We did fantastic, up over 100%. Got into that earlier than most people. Gold royalty companies have been doing great. But let's talk about the one area that hasn't really performed until the past few months. And that's junior miners. And guys, this is a market where many of you may not have been part of a bull market in this. It's supposed to be a cyclical market, but it's been so horrible for so long. And some names have done well over the past 12 months, maybe even 18 months. Some, not many, only a few. Now, these are companies, they're very early stage companies that are not going to produce gold, or their sites aren't going to be developed pretty much for over 10 years. And one out of every 3,000 projects, guys, think about this when you walk into the PDAC and you see 30,000 companies or whatever that are going to pitch you on their projects, these junior miner companies. One out of every 3,000 goes from the early start where you plant a flag in the ground to actual production. Pretty crazy stat when you think about it. So why is this industry doing so amazingly now? Because they own assets that you really need to see 1,600, 1,700 gold, 1,600 probably around there to really be worth it. I mean, they'll have these studies and say, look, at 1,250, 1,300, 1,350, it works. But remember, it takes 10 years and hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes even more than that, to build up these projects. And you're not going to take a chance with gold at, $100 more than where their PA studies suggest that these mining operations and these drilling are going to be profitable. So now when you have 1,800, a lot of these companies, these junior miners, they all modeled all of them were modeling for 1350, 1250, right? This is what's going to be our project at 1250, 1300, and we're looking at 1800. I mean, you're talking about companies that were not economically sound and would never get developed to now these projects look incredibly attractive. Some of them still don't. I mean, some of them in the middle of an area where, you know, the government could just take you over. It's crazy. You have no infrastructure, which costs sometimes tens to hundreds of millions to build. Water, plants, electricity, all that stuff. Nobody talks to you about that. But there are junior miners in the right space. And two of the names that I love right now that I want to share with you, and I'm going to give you, you know, just the format of how to look at companies, because a lot of these names are trading at 52-week highs, still down from all-time highs, well below all-time highs. But one of the names hesitant to give you because we stopped out, and I was wrong on this one. And I hate giving you stocks and people lose money. It bothers the shit out of me. I can't sleep. That's just the way I am because I care. But ORN Resources, I've had Ivan B back on a lot of times. That stock is you know, just going up and up and up right now. But that's a company where, you know, look, we recommended it early, which means we're wrong, right? Early means wrong in this industry. But spent a lot of money to develop these projects. But these projects that they are in with ORN Resources, with Ivan B back, these are super high grade gold projects. And it made sense at 1450, 1500. And in 1600, like, wow, 17, 18. And I told you guys over a year ago, and this is even before COVID, with the amount of money being spent and they're not pulling back governments, gold's going to 2000. COVID just pushed it much, much faster. You know, way over 2000 with gold. Just makes central banks, they're not done. I mean, we're in like the third inning of spending here. And it's resulting in anywhere from 15 to 50%, if you're Italy, of GDP that's been spent on fiscal and monetary policy, where the US is at 30%. But most countries are over 15%, and many are over 20%. And it's going to continue. It's definitely going to continue because the earnings aren't there. We're pushing everything out to 2022. That's the only way to support the markets, which means that's going to be very good for gold and even Bitcoin. We're going to see Bitcoin surge as well. So Bitcoin has been doing well, pulled off from 10,000, probably 92, 9,300. But getting back to gold specifically, when you're getting back to the junior miners, this is a market. Yeah, many of you maybe listen to this and you listen to me for 5, 6, 7 years. But those of you who have experienced a bull market in junior resources, when that cyclical market turns, you know what I'm talking about. These are stocks that don't go up 1x, 2x, 3x. They go up 5, 10, 20x. It's normal when it happens. It doesn't happen often. Right now, it's starting to happen. Now you have the wave behind you. You have a lot of positives. The trend is in your favor. Yes, we're going to see gold prices go high. The government's going to continue to spend money. You're looking at the majors that underproduced tremendously. Now they're generating more profits, record profits than they ever generated, and they need to buy up assets right now. They need to. And now they're going to look at the juniors, and with prices where they're trading, a lot of these guys upgrading those studies from saying, hey, this is where we were at 1450. Now here's where we are at 1700. Now these companies are worth taking over because that's what the junior mining market is. That's what it's built on. It's built on you just, you know, drilling and providing that asset and more details. And you know, the goal is to get taken over by a major. The goal for 99% of these companies is not to develop these assets and you know, go crazy. No, that's not what they do. They're looking to sell these assets to majors. But ORN Resources is one name that I love for a long time. Ivan B back is just a big owner of the stock. He's always been up front. I love this guy, someone I trust. I don't trust a lot of people in this industry. The other one is gold mining, a stock that Amir's come on numerous times on this podcast. If you bought it any time, you're definitely up because it's at an all-time high. The reason why I love that, and Amir's a great friend, which has nothing to do. I don't get paid for any research from anyone. If I don't like your company, I don't care if you're my best friend. I'm going to short it on you. I mean, that's the reputation we have, right? Where people trust us. Where, you know, we're an independent research firm. We don't get paid by anybody to recommend their stock. But when you're looking at gold mining and the projects that they built up, and now they just turned into a royalty model, which was incredible because, you know, I won't get into too much of the details because I really got into the details on my on a special exclusive interview with Amir to my Curzio Venture Opportunity subscribers who are doing very, very well in that stock. But I said, here's why this is a big deal. I just announced it, but they have such a huge portfolio that now if they decide to sell out certain projects, they're going to be able to keep the royalties on those projects, which is amazing. It's a different business model. People are loving it. And I didn't understand it at first. I thought, it's just like a kind of .com thing where you just turn into royalty because they command a higher premium. No, it's because they're sitting on massive assets, 14 projects. And now with gold prices going higher, maybe half of those where the economics worked at 14.50. But at 17, 18, all of them work. So those are two names I wanted to share with you, two names that I like. Again, Oren, we didn't do well on. If you listen to, it's doing well now if you held on to it. I know we stopped that in our portfolio, which was good because it went down a lot further. Again, junior miners are now in favor. If you're going to buy them, guys, you need certain characteristics. You need them. You need a great management team. You need high insider ownership. Okay. These guys got to be in the same boat that you are. That's both of these companies. You want to make sure they have great projects. All right. That's very, very important. Also, even those projects, you want to make sure there's infrastructure around them because that can amount to tens to hundreds of millions of dollars to build that infrastructure. So that management team, you want to make sure they're in good jurisdictions. That's these two companies. You don't want to buy a great asset that's worth a fortune if it's in the middle of Beirut because the government could say, hey, we're taking over the whole project and good luck and your stock goes to zero. I've seen it happen. It happened numerous times in this industry. So those are the things you want to focus on. It's not too hard to find that. You can go to their websites, do their presentations, make sure that insider ownership is good. And also, what you're going to see in both of these companies, you want to see if there's a major that's already invested in the company, if they already took a stake. That means they're interested. They're interested to see this thing develop. And they're interested in the project, and it's going to make it a lot easier for those guys to come in and buy the whole company. So that's Oren Resources, AUG, and then you have gold mining. And yeah, we had Amir on numerous times. So if you follow that, it's very good. You can also buy gold mining on the over-the-counter exchange, which I don't recommend. I'd rather you go on Toronto Exchange. So it's GOLD.TO as a symbol, but you can also find it, and it does trade pretty good volume, GLDLF. That's for people who have trouble buying on Toronto Exchange in some of your accounts. But those are the two stocks I'm looking at right now that look good. But if you're going to start doing your homework now, yes, you're going to see these things up and doing well. But remember, when this industry turns, again, a lot of the people listen to me that have 20, 30 years experience in this industry that have lived through those markets. Holy cow. They make up for 7, 8 years of negative returns because those returns can make you rich and it doesn't take long. It'll take 12, 18 months and you see 5X to 10X gain. The risk reward is tremendously in your favor right now for gold and junior mining stocks. And you're going to see a lot more of those companies make their way into our portfolios of Curzio Research.